Take a minute to complete the starter. Scan the QR code. Differentiation using automation. Create a Microsoft Form starter quiz to initiate your automated flow. Then locate Power Automate. This used to be called Microsoft Flow. You can sign in using your Microsoft 365 account. We'll create a new flow by selecting Create. Provide your flow with a suitable name. Select when a new response is submitted as your flow trigger. This will activate your flow. Then use the drop-down menu to identify the connected form. Then add a new step. We will choose the Get Response Details operation. Again, select your form ID, the same form you previously selected. Then add your response ID, which is dynamic content that links the user. Add another new step to get the user profile. Then select Get User Profile V2. Again, we need our dynamic content here, and we need to add the responder's email. So that's the person filling in the form. Add a new step. This will initialize a variable that we'll call var score to keep track of the person's score or the user as they're completing the form. Select Initialize Variable and add what you can see on the screen. var score, type integer, which means it's a number, and we start the value at 0. Then add a new step. We're going to add another variable, and it's the Initialize Variable option. And we're going to define a variable called var priority, which is a string, and we're going to leave a placeholder text, which is enter initial value. Now we need to add a control. We add conditions to filter the responses on the form. And these are essentially our questions from our form. This is all dynamic content, so we select the Add Dynamic Content, and then we search for our question, and we go with our first question. Essentially, our question is equal to the answer of the question. So it's best to copy and paste this exact answer from your form so there are no errors. Be sure there is no empty space at the end of your text. Add another action. If the answer is given correct, then it goes to yes. We need to add 3 items here. The first item, we initialize our variable. And we're incrementing our var score variable by 1 each time the question is received as correct. So var score 1. Then we add another action. Essentially, these items are completed for each question. There are no arguments added to the no side of the questions, because if they don't get the question correct, then we just leave it at that. And we don't increment or decrement the no option. So here I'm just adding all of my questions in. If the answer is a number-based question, we have to apply speech marks to represent a string. Questions complete. Let's add our range check. Here we add another control condition. We will provide 3 different pathways, H, M, and L. var score is equal to 4, as 4 represents our highest increment. This may be different for your question if you have more than 4 questions. Here we set a variable on the yes option. Set variable var priority as H. Now we add another action. Choose operation, get my profile. We use the V2 version of the get my profile. Then we add an action, send an email, and this is also the V2 version. At this point, you will add your specific feedback for your higher banded students that were able to get all of the questions correct, or most of them, depends on the range that you gave. Give an appropriate subject. Select the to field by adding a dynamic content, and this is going to be responder's email. The email you send to the H scoring students may include a well done, perhaps an extension task, the objective, success criteria, maybe some links. Keep it simple. Here we're going to add the name from dynamic content. This is essentially a field in the form. On the note option, we're going to add our further conditions. Control, condition control, yep, you guessed it. Choose a value. var score is less than or equal to 3 in this situation. Again, this may be different, depends on the scores that you're giving your quiz and the total number of questions. We add an additional condition here, which essentially is going to allow us to have a range. If our var score is greater than or equal to 2, so essentially it's going to be 2 or 3 for this condition to be true. Then we do the same thing we did on the previous. We set a variable. Our variable this time, we're going to set var priority to M. That's var priority to M. Then we add another action. We get the profile. Again, we select V2. Get my profile V2. Then we add an action, send an email, V2. The email you send to the M-scoring students may include a well done, some further practice material, objectives, success criteria, links, attachments. Keep it simple. Add the responder's email, today's activity, and very much repetition really. Check out the video. You can even add some support links. Now the final condition is required. If no, set the variable to var priority L. Get my profile, send an email, and repeat the process. The email you send to the L category of students may include a well done for completing the starter and some differentiation such as timed practice activity or directions to work in a support group perhaps. Finally, save your flow and test with your own email in the form. It's best to also test each score of your form to ensure that you're getting the correct output. If you wish to add any further customizations such as a spreadsheet to reveal all the results in real time, or for any other issues, email me at nathaniel.haswell@aths.ac.ae. Here are some examples of the emails sent. Automation ensures that you can support students of varied abilities and learning styles, and it also saves you time in the classroom. And no programming is necessary, just a logical thinking process. Any questions, please email me. You can also use the approach for exit tickets for further practice for the student. Differentiation using automation.